Hi everyone, I'm Andrew. Welcome to Plainview Farm, where I'm about to do something very sketchy. Okay, so many of you may know, if you've watched other videos on the channel, that I recently bought a Farmall 806 tractor. And the 806 is meant to, in some ways, actually I guess a lot of ways, replace this 1948 Farmall M. The plan is to take this old Quaker Super K loader off of this M and eventually adapt it to go on that 806 and then sell the M. But the first thing I have to do is get the loader off of the M. I've spent an awful lot of time trying to come up with some kind of a plan, figure out how I'm going to do this, and it doesn't seem like there's any good way, at least not one that I've thought of. There may be something very obvious that I should be doing that I'm just not doing. I know there are stands, people have made stands for these loaders, and that's actually my plan in the future for this tractor. But I don't have that now, and I'm not ready to do that now because I want to make it to fit the 806. So for the meantime, like I said, I'm getting ready to do something pretty sketchy. We're going to try to pull this loader off of this tractor, at least the main part of it, the arms with the bucket on it. That way we can take the mounting posts and all that off. We're going to do this in possibly the sketchiest way possible. So like I said, you've been warned. So what I've done is I've parked this loader up against this old utility pole. Phone line came in here. This used to be a power pole. Not that you really care about that. So what we're going to do is we're going to use this and use a come along to put tension on these loader arms so that I can then unhook everything and back out from under this loader. So the first thing I'm going to do, I said a come along, I'm going to use a strap as well. In order to keep from tearing things up, at least too bad, I'm going to come around the outside of the loader arms so that I don't do any damage to the hydraulic lines. All right, we'll call that good enough. Before we go about unhooking everything, we're going to see if this is going to even think about working. That looks good to me. If this doesn't have the desired result, we will move up higher on the arms. And the arms themselves aren't heavy. The bucket and this front end of the loader is not heavy. So, really all we're trying to do is release pressure, like I said, so we can back the tractor out, and then I'll stick some kind of support underneath the back side of the arm. We'll work the valve, keep the pressure off of it. All right, everything is still connected. Now, just need to unhook the cylinders. The arm cylinders are going to stay with the arms, and then we'll have to unhook all of the hydraulic lines and pull our pins. First thing I need to do, I guess, is get the cylinder loose. So, this tractor is a good tractor. I mean, if I was looking for an M to rebuild, I'd probably keep this one. This one has a HEMA 9-speed. It has Charlin power steering. Has the M&W live hydraulic pump. A lot of the things that are desirable on these tractors. And you know, like I said, if I were looking for an M to rebuild, to have an M, well, I'd probably stick with this one. But I'm not looking to rebuild an M. So we're gonna send this one on down the road. Hopefully there is someone that would like to rebuild this tractor. If not, then I guess we can go to the route of parting it out. Not necessarily what I want to do, but I guess we can do that. Hopefully this one comes off as easy as the other one did. Look at that, it's a different size nut. What do you know? Haha, it is coming loose just as easy as the other one did. It's the small things, right? See, and that's what, you know, a lot of people complain about oil leaks and fluid leaks, that kind of stuff on a tractor, which, you know, I don't like them either, but there are silver linings to that kind of stuff. Keeps it from getting too rusty, or keeps the bolts from seizing up. There we go. So, the idea here is to take a piece of wire and then tie this up. All right, that'll work for what we're doing. I'm to go do the other side. Okay, I think that'll work. Ish. Now, I'm gonna figure out how I want to unhook all of the hydraulic lines. I guess the easiest way is probably how I need to do it. Whew. Sorry about that. Oh, I realize what I'm doing. Whoops. Whoops, whoops, whoops. Don't pay any attention to me, guys. Messing that up. The swivel is not here, it's here. I don't know what took me so long to realize that, but I think that's a 3/4 inch. But I got my crescent hammer. So we'll stick with it. Oh yeah, there we go. That was much better. Now I did take all the pressure off of the lines, so we should be good there. Now, I'll tell you this, if these lines were longer, what I probably would have done is unhook all of this, the arms, extended the cylinders out in order to prop these arms up, or I could move out from under them just a little bit and then prop them up. But these lines are too short for me to do that, and I'm not going to go buy hydraulic lines solely for that purpose. You gotta be kidding me. And of course, this one's not gonna move. There's always gotta be one. Always. Oh, that's nice. Just round that one off, I guess. This is not going very well. As you can see there, the pipe wrench has slipped, the wrench has slipped, and this is our swivel fitting right here. This is for a third function. It's not even used, so that one's gotten nice and seized up. I mean, I've got an idea for how to deal with it, but some might say it's not a very good idea. All right, I'm tired of fiddling with it. If it breaks, it breaks. It broke. We'll deal with one problem at a time. I did go ahead and unhook the hydraulic pump and all of that from the valve here, so everything is now apart. I didn't figure you wanted to watch me do all of that wrench twisting. All I did was unhook all the hydraulic lines, insert plugs. That's really all there was to it. So now we are ready to unhook the pins up here at the top and hopefully just back out from underneath it. That's the idea anyway. Of course, we're getting close to supper time for the pigs, so they're gonna come over here and tell us all about it. What size are those? What did I grab? A 9/16? Probably need a 1/2 inch. Oh, that one didn't even have a nut on the bottom of it. That's handy. One of the interesting things to me about old tractors like this is how people just kind of got stuff done. You know, there's all kinds of adapters, all kinds of different bolt sizes, nut sizes, whatever, right? We just use whatever hardware we have, and you know, can't say as a blame, folks. Oh, look. Doesn't appear to be a nut on that one either. Well, that was simple. All right, now, let's see here. Oh, look at that. That pin's loose. So, I guess we'll just drive them out and see what happens. I do believe we've cleared that one. Hum, 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 him says. Seems to me we don't have enough tension. All right, we're gonna reset, try again. Got another idea here. Let's try this. Maybe, and I'm no physics major or definitely not an engineer. We'll see if maybe if we're pulling on these brackets here, if we can just pull the thing forward. Oh yeah, look at that. I see movement up there. That one's a moving. It's moving, y'all. You know, it's almost like it needs to twist a little bit. Well, there's one pin out. I think it's a little bit worn. Nice little groove in it there. I have no reason to believe why this one's not the same. In fact, it seems like we have hit a tight spot. I have to rotate it. There we go. Oh yeah, that one's almost like a corkscrew. I think we are mostly free. There it went. We're free. You know, as goofy as this plan may have seemed and sketchy, I think it might just have worked. One more lap around to make sure there's nothing accidentally snagging on it somewhere. Kind of nervous about setting up here, honestly. Of course. Doggone it, now I have to jump start it. All right, well, I got the jumper cables on here. Stand right here. Maybe any hydraulic fluid that comes flying out won't hit me in the face if I didn't get everything closed up right. I think we'll call that good so far. All right, well, here goes nothing, I guess. See if we back out from underneath it. Well, I tell you what. I think that went pretty well. Oh, here's the pin I lost. It's the one that's kind of corkscrewed a little bit. That went pretty good for a sketchy project. It wasn't too sketchy overall. Most of the weight is up here. There's not a lot of weight back here. Just simply, you know, because of what we've got back here. It's the center of balance is probably pretty close here to where I've got it hooked on, if not a little further forward. But the OM looks kind of strange without the loader arms on it. So that's step one in trying to find the old M a new home. We're getting it ready to find a new home. Next thing I need to do is take the mounting brackets off of there and maybe clean up a couple things, and then we'll try to get it listed for sale. But that's going to happen in another video. So, as always, I appreciate you watching. We'll see you next time.